everyone. Welcome back to Chasing Rank. Hopefully you are doing well. We are back after a very merry period, and hopefully your FPL teams were able to get some returns like a few of us were. Gentlemen, how are we going?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Obviously put on a few extra kilos over this period, so looking forward to that good old New Year's resolution, and one of them being that we're going to chase some ranks. So hopefully it goes all right. How are you, Dom?
I'm great. Back into the top million, which is a small win for me, but not a great week this week for all of us, and I think for the wider FPL community.
Yeah, I think since we were last live, I was about 75,000. So I had the smallest of smallest red arrows this week, which we'll get to in a minute. Big episode, though, today. We've got, obviously, a deadline that is all of, 10 hours away or so. A bit earlier, 9 hours away from the deadline. So I'm expecting, hopefully there's a bit more activity in the chat tonight with people looking at moves for this week and beyond, because midweek deadlines, Christmas period, New Year period's back, which means we've got a deadline tonight, and then we've got another deadline on Saturday as well. So plenty to deconstruct with you guys tonight. But first, as always, we're going with fallers and ballers. And I think this person knows that he is the lowest scorer. Damo.
Yeah, mate. Here I am. Look, obviously wish there was a podcast last week because I had a great green arrow. And then I think when we last all met, I was about 140K, got inside the top 50K, and now back to 99. If you've been following along on Twitter, which hopefully you have, because I'm doing some amazing work. My two moves this week are both of my ballers. I can't remember who I sold Keaton for. It was a defender. I know that, obviously. Bit of an interesting one.
Messi?
Yeah, I think it was. Paul tried to talk
me out. Lacroix.
Yeah, that's it. Paul tried to talk me out of this one because obviously we don't know about King's minutes moving forward, but I just thought the fixture was too good with the money I had. And in order to get Wirtz in, who was my second move as well, and to have funds to get Gabriel in next week, I had to go to a cheaper defender. So I went with Keane. He got his 10 points. He played brilliantly. I know that the narrative is that I have to keep Branfait happy, and obviously Branfait needs to come back into the team at some point, but he's been their best defender, and I'm very interested to see how they manage all three of him, Tarkowski, and Branfait's minutes when he's back. But yeah, something I'm watching with bated breath. My other baller was that I did bring Wirtz in. I've been very impressed watching him the last month, and it was only a matter of time before he returns of how well he's been playing, with how good Liverpool's fixtures are. So I went him over Ekatike. It was an extra 5 points, and as you can tell from the very low score that I got, the extra 5 points is quite handy. So yes, went with Wirtz. Nice to get both of those returns. I do not have a third baller. That's how bad of a game week it is. Maybe it's Dubravka for putting in an outstanding performance
on the bench.
He's a good goal. He's a good goalkeeper on his day, and he kept very, very well this game. And as the next goalkeeper coach, pretty happy. Fallers, everybody else. Triple Arsenal defense has been poor. I started Timber. He didn't play. Hincapié came in, got a 1 pointer. Great. Raya doesn't know how to keep a clean sheet anymore. Foden and Haaland both were poor. And I think the biggest one is that Walter Mate got whipped off in the 68th minute. So those people that sold Walter Mate to Ekatike did really well. I decided to keep him because the fixtures are just too good for me to sell moving forward. And I made my bet. I'm going to lay in it. He's going to stay in my team for 5 weeks, and whatever happens, happens. But he's my biggest faller of the week. I should put Morgan Rogers in there, but considering what he's done the last 2 weeks from my rank, I'm definitely not going to put Morgan Rogers in the fallers. But that is the team, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the green arrow this week. It seems to be one massive green, 2 reds, one massive green, 2 reds for me at the moment.
Yeah, and that's just with where everyone is ranked as well. Like, it's a good game week shoots you up, and then a poor one flies you back down. Like, it's pretty hard to, get around an average score. So, Dom, second on the list this week. Talk us through fallers, ballers before we move through.
Ballers, probably most of the team. Pretty much all of them. I think the same for all FPL players. We only get, 2 returns, three returns. Not much else to say.
You got 4 returns.
Oh, technically, yeah. Hard to pick one out. Rogers played really, really well. Hard to say as a Chelsea fan. Just didn't get that contribution. Haaland and Foden weren't really in the game, but we know what they've done, what they can do. Ballers, I'm going to go my boy, my FPL legend who I brought in this week, Raul Jimenez, bangs a goal in a 1-0 win. Big win for Fulham. So happy with that one. He just it's been inevitable the last, say, 10 years in a FPL. So went stuck to my guns and brought him in. Semenyo bangs in another goal in a 4-1 win. Looks expected to move to City. So that could be another talking point in the next couple of weeks. Whether he stays, goes, I'm not sure. I will hold him though. And I'm going to have to say, I'll give Alderete. Gets his DC. But yeah, Thiago gets an assist.
He's pretty unlucky not to get 2 as well because he creates the own goal, but it is what it is.
It's all right. It's all right.
Nice. What was the other move? Let's have a look. So you went Cunha in, Bruno and Raul in for Krupi. Pretty standard.
Yeah, lining up a bench boost this week though, so that's why the moves brought me here.
Nice.
Good luck with the bench boost, mate. Hopefully it shoots you up.
Yeah, probably won't.
I wasn't too far ahead on 46, 2 above the average, which is crazy to say, and it only moved me back about 4K rank. So the fact that the average was 44 and I'm inside the top 50,000 and I scored 46 and only went from 40,000 to 43,000 is kind of saying that everyone actually scored in and around that like 40 bracket in the good ranks and even lower. Like clearly if you got anything, above 50 was an exceptional score this week and would have absolutely catapulted you up the ranks. So for me, ballers from people we haven't spoken about, I'll go Rice, Tarkovsky, and Ekatike. For me, you guys were trying to actively convince me not to go Rice. He goes and gets me an 11-pointer last week, gets DEFCON, gets goals, or got the assist, back-to-back assists, and then goes and gets the assist direct off the corner this time round as well, which is brilliant. He was only 2 off DEFCON as well, and he was on 3 up until about the 75th minute, and he finished on 10. So when the game was there at 2-1 and Arsenal obviously went and decided to sit in, Rice at right back, who would have thought Timber coming out would have alluded to a Declan Rice 5-pointer at right back. But this is why I like Rice. He's going to tick along. He'll have the odd 2-pointer here or there, but then he'll go 5s and 7s and 11s, depending on if he's scoring, assisting and doing what he does best. So very happy owning him. Ekatike comes in, gets his 85 minutes against Wolves. Thanks for coming, gets the assist. He will be fine longer term in this structure of a 3-5-2. Timber doesn't play, and I actually get the 5 points of Anderson off the bench, which was nice. And I was never not playing Virgil at home against Wolves in favour of Alderete. So I think I got all my decisions right this week. Transfers were Bruno to Cunha, which obviously didn't feel like a great move to make, but now with the fixture run we're going to talk about with Man United, I'm very happy having Cunha, and he had a couple of chances in the first half before Newcastle decided to turn on, and then Ekatike came in for Voltamata. So pretty positive moves. The only person in my side, actually probably the concerning part of my side is this left-hand side here where I've got 3 players on 4 yellow cards each. They obviously only have to get through this week, isn't it? So if they get suspended this week, if they get a yellow this week, they'll get suspended next week. Yeah. So as long as only one of those 3 get a yellow card, I'll be fine to play Timber out of route. I can probably cover 2 of them, to be fair, but I've got no free transfers in the bank. So I don't really want 2 of them both getting yellows this week in Semenyo, Bruno and Tarkovsky. But other than that, 43K rank, I feel like we're just holding ground at the moment and pretty happy with the structure of my team. If I have to roll this side out over the next few weeks, I'm happy. And to be fair, I'm probably almost leaning towards a 4-4-2 and playing, the Anderson, Alderete, Bruno kind of rotation in 3-5-2, 4-4-2, and, Rice, Foden, Cunha, Semenyo start every week for me at this point. So I think that's where I'm at with my side. So let's kick that one off. Let's have a quick look at some questions before we get into a bit of a recap of 18 and then a big preview of fixtures. Big comment here from Jackie, 58 on the free hit and 65 on the bench boost last game week, and then hitting the wild card. So the fact that you've held your wild card this long, that's bloody incredible, Jackie. Let us know what your rank is there as well, because if you've held off your wild card for this long, you're going to be really set up for a good middle part of the season to then set you up for a good back end of the season with the second wild card. So brilliant work there, Jackie. And then Ola's got, should I sell Semenyo and get Gordon in? I would not do this at all.
Not yet.
Bournemouth are an interesting team. I think they're not going to get the credit they deserve as an attack. I wouldn't be targeting Bournemouth defenders with this run here if I just share my screen. So I've got Semenyo as the placeholder for their fixtures. But they go Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Brighton, Liverpool. I see goals in most of those games because that Arsenal game is at home. Arsenal's defence has not been the Arsenal defence of old. Damo's had 3 Arsenal defenders for a month. I've had 2 for probably 6 weeks. And same with Damo. We've both had at least 2 Arsenal defenders. And, you know, if I'd got a few more clean sheets out of Arsenal, I'd be right up inside the top 25, 20K because I've been on that double Arsenal defence for so long. So I don't think Arsenal at Bournemouth is a bad fixture. Again, obviously, as Dom alluded to, we have to figure out what's going on with his transfer. If he goes to City, I'll probably sell him straight away. I think there's too much rotation risk in that side. I think Cherky's nailed a spot in. Savinho's coming in off the bench. Doku will be back from injury. I think there's just going to be too many players. Marmoush will be back from AFCON as well around that time. And this won't be a deal that Bournemouth would want to make until right at the end of the window anyway. So I would just hold him until he has a blue jersey on, I think. And I think he's a good enough asset. He's shown over the last few weeks. He's gone goal, goal, goal in the last 3 weeks. We know the fixtures have been better, but you look at his XGI, 0.6, 0.4, 0.3, 0.17, 0.54, 0.83. If Bournemouth are going to score a goal, he's going to be involved. Anyone got any thoughts before we move into the fixtures?
Yeah, I think if you got Semenyo, he's an easy hold. I think he's their main talisman, and it always is annoying to not have the main talisman in your side, in your FPL team from a team that, you know, if they're going to score goals, it's going to be the one man. You know, I've obviously gone against Semenyo for the last month and a bit. It's hurt me now, but previously not. In the last couple of weeks, it's really hurt me because his ownership's so high. Look, Gordon's a good asset. Yeah, understand. And yes, the fixtures are really good, but there's so much rotation out wide. And you got to remember, Wiss is also coming back to fitness, and Wiss traditionally played left wing for Brentford. So
he was playing through the middle, man.
Yeah,
He's not looked like going out wide at all.
So all I'm going to say on that is that there is no guarantee on how many minutes Gordon gets, and there's no guarantee that he is.
None of those wingers are getting 90 minutes.
Yeah,
none of the Newcastle attacks getting 90 minutes. I actually don't really want a piece of it, which is why I sold Voltemata because, you know, who's to say that with other games, Champions League as well, there's going to be times where Vissa will start in the league and Voltemata might start in the Champions League, or the FA Cup's now around the corner. So there's just so many games coming that Eddie Howe will just constantly rotate. Damo and I copped it with Bruno Guimaraes as well. We brought him in and bang, got benched. Yes, he come on and scored, but, you know, Eddie Howe is someone who likes to rotate. And I'm at a point now where I want 90-minute guys. I don't want to touch guys who aren't on the pitch. We know there's a high percentage of goals are scored in the last 25 minutes of games. I want players that are on the pitch at that point of the game. So I might seem a very downcast or very negative against some of these options, but if you're not on the pitch for at least 85 minutes, I don't want to bar you in my team.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Any thoughts about that?
No, I think it's fair. And like, as much as I am keeping Voltemata, because I just think the fixtures are too good. You know, give me 60 minutes against Burnley, Palace, Leeds, and Wolves. I've got to take it, right? I know that as soon as he gets the Villa in game week 23, he's gone because there's no guarantee that he starts those games either. It's the classic whole, do you like the fixtures? Do you like minutes? And I've always been a minutes man, and fixtures are secondary. If I didn't have a Newcastle attacker already, which I do, unfortunately, I wouldn't go out there and buy one. Hence why you should keep Semenyo. Do I think you should be getting Semenyo in? No. I think if you don't have him, there's
better options. Yeah.
46% owned, and I think he's very easily backable against with other options that are out there in the game as well. So I think it's a move that you don't need to make, Ola. If you told me that you were moving him to Cunha, for instance, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably a much better move.
Yeah. Nice. All right, let's get into it because I just want to speed through this and I want to look at some projections and then answer some questions tonight. So Keep it basic. Man United, Newcastle. This game was incredible. Lots of people have spoken about Dorgu. It's hard because you want to have some time to wait and see. But if you've got balls, back him in for a month with some of these good fixtures that United have. He's playing right wing. He's going to get clean sheet points, which if United, I don't see United keeping lots of clean sheets, but imagine a game like this where Dorgu gets a DC, he gets 4 clean sheet points, scores a goal, gets 3 bonus. He got DC because he got 10. That could be a cheat code, but it's not long term because you've got Ahmad coming back, you've got Mazraoui coming back, you've got some of the centre backs coming back in as well. You got Mbeumo. Mbeumo's playing, a 10 role.
Yeah, probably what position in the 11 though.
Yeah, so I don't think it's sustainable long term. But if you're someone who hasn't spent many transfers and you need to make a short term defender punt with the 3 games I've got, I actually don't hate the Dorgu pick because they're that decimated by injury and AFCON. But like Damo said with Keane, you have to be prepared to get off straight away. So that would be my one comment there on Dorgu. Cunha looked good in the first half. He looked bloody brilliant in the first half. He was very unlucky. There was a shot there that they had bloody Ramsdale in goal. Made a good save as well and could have been a better day for Cunha. But Damo, from your thoughts from this game, what did you take away?
Look, United, I think, are a team that is worth having a couple of assets from. They did look decent. I think they progressively have looked better and better as the season's got on. I think I know that Dorgu's minutes before the last 2 weeks we played 90 were very sporadic. I just don't see with the injuries and the form he's in how they drop him. Same with Heaven at the back as well. I don't see how with the injuries. So if you're a very brave man and I have one free transfer and I am tempted to do it, I'm almost tempted to go and get Dorgu or Heaven in and be they're going to play the next 4 with AFCON and injuries, right? So, if you want to do that and you want to save some money so you can move funds around to restructure your team, which I know I need to do in about 3 weeks' time, this is the time that you could start to do it and get away with it with a couple of these assets because you know that they're going to play for the next 4. There's nowhere where they won't. So, yeah.
And Dallo is 4.52 Damo as well. And he's someone who's probably more nailed in that 11, can play left back, right back. He's gone 90, 90, 90, 83, 67, 90 since game week 13. Has really found a spot here. He's gone and got that big return against West Ham. He got a 5-pointer. So he's gone goal, assist, blank assist since game week 14. So Dallo might be someone that we're sleeping on. And if they go Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, then it's Man City, Arsenal, and then Fulham, Tottenham, West Ham, Everton, Palace, Newcastle, Villa, Bournemouth, Leeds, Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool, Sunderland, Forest, Brighton. That's their run home.
I know. It's good eyes.
He's at 4.5. He's very tempting.
Yeah, I'm very tempted this week to go Hincampie all the way down and play him this week, Dalot or Dorgu, either or, and then know that that's only one free transfer. Only got one for next week, but straight away be Timber to Gabriel, and now I'm off the triple Arsenal defense, which doesn't look as good at the moment. And then I can restructure that funds into midfield or get rid of Waldemar and do something else with that as well. But it is interesting. Cortex with a great little note there too. Dallo is probably the best pick because he can play anywhere, as proven by that message.
Bit more assist threat for him. He's a bit more, gets the balls into the box. But what I like about Dallo, do you guys know how that assist came about? He takes all throw-ins. He pings throw-ins into the box. And he does them from throw-in. That's what I'm saying. He does them from both sides as well. So he runs side to side to take all the throw-ins, which when Sesko's fit as well, that could be a genuine route to goal, or it creates the chaos in the middle of the box and no one gets a touch on it, and then Dorgu's at the back post, smash it home. It could be. Look, Jackie, I wouldn't go Dorgu and Dalot, but I like Dalot at 4.5 million. I think you could do. If I've got Virgil van Dijk in my team right now, I'd much rather have a Dalot. Yeah. Virgil ain't keeping any bloody clean sheets. He ain't scoring any goals. He ain't getting assists. His DC's a bit I'm at the point now where I'd like Dalot is getting DC from time to time as well. And he's got that huge assist threat. So I'm not making that move because I got one transfer. But it's something I'm thinking about. I think with Man United, you have to do it now. If you're not doing it this week against Wolves, you're going to miss the boat. You know what? Man United defenders, you got to do it now.
I know we spent a lot on this game. I just want to break one last point. You know what the expected minutes are for all of them? You want to know who has the most expected minutes and most expected points over this run? It's 3.8 mil Heaven. And if you're really brave, If you're really brave, he will start the next few for 3.8 mil, and then he can just put him last on your bench and deal with him later.
I'm just looking up his DCs. The last 3 weeks, he's gone 10, 12, 11. Wolves, he played 68 minutes and got 8. The last 3 games have all been 90. Far out. He could be... You could go like a Virgil van Dijk to heaven, rotate 3 cheap defenders as the third, and then throw that money into your midfield and forward line.
Yeah, like... I'm looking at that now, and I'm like, do I just get Heaven in and start him against Wolves this week? So it is interesting. And there was a quote from Amarin that came out and said, well, if he's playing this well, it's hard to get him out the team. And he's been playing incredible.
And he's playing centre back too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm brave enough to do it, but I like, if you're on wildcard, which I think Jackie is, I think he's a no-brainer. He's an absolute no-brainer. He needs
to be your 5th defender at 3-8 on the wildcard.
He's the best 5th defender in the game. I obviously set up with 5 big centre backs and whatever. I'm pretty happy with that setup. Only problem is Arsenal come off the boil. So I'm definitely looking for a way to restructure my funds. This could be the way, and that gives me, big FU funds to do whatever I want afterwards. So yeah. Definitely an option.
Yeah, I think we'll get to Man United when we talk projections as well, because I feel like over the next 3 weeks, they're going to be a team that's going to be at the front of those. Forest City, again, Cherky, what a player. I wish I had the bullies to do this. I was looking at it over Cunha. I still like Cunha long-term anyway, but short-term, it would have been nice to get that goal and assist at that effective ownership that he has as well. Would have been nice at 7.7%. Would have been a nice way to fly up. But again, I'm worried about the Pep Roulette up front kind of rotation station. So I don't think it's one that's going to hurt long-term. But again, clean sheet for you guys has been unfortunate as 2 O'Reilly owners here, and I'm not the O'Reilly owner, and that's practically the reason why I cleared you guys this week, is because I got 2 clean sheets and you guys got 1. So that was the difference this week. Arsenal-Brighton, same thing. I just can't get over. Arsenal do not concede a lot of chances. This is the frustrating part. They just do something dumb all the time. And I think with Gabriel out of the side, I don't think we thought he was going to be as influential as he has been, because I think they've kept 1 clean sheet, maybe 2 since he's been injured. So I am very keen to see how they line up this week against Villa. Big game. Who plays? What's going on with Calafiori? I haven't heard anything yet.
It wasn't pictured in training, but apparently Arsenal were purposely not taking photos of Timber and Calafiori.
All right. So this is what Arteta does. I expect their bog standard back 4 to play this Villa game, I think. I'd expect Calafiori, Timber, Gabriel and Saliba.
Massive game.
With how well Villa are doing at the moment as well. A huge game. I expect Gabriel to be back. I wouldn't go and buy Gabriel this week because I expect Villa to score with the form they're in. Hence why
it's going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah, hence why I'm starting Rodgers as well. But I think Gabriel was pretty much a must-buy after this week. Now, do you stay with the triple Arsenal defense? Yes or no? That is my question to you guys.
I don't mind it. I mean, I'm a Rice owner. I don't mind triple defense, to be fair, but I wouldn't sell Rice now to go and do it. Because I actually really like Declan. I like Declan Rice a lot, but if I didn't have Rice, I'd be more likely to go triple Arsenal defense than I would Saka. As Saka, he was very unlucky not to get 2 assists in this game too, as well.
As someone that currently owns Raya, Timber, and Hincapié, and I don't think I could start Timber and Hincapié because obviously I don't think Hincapié starts, and I think Timber is maybe the most doubtful out of all of them. So I don't want to, obviously the deadline's when we're all asleep, so I can't get team news. Unless
you want to get up at 3:30.
And to be fair,
like you used to.
my team sets up okay. To be honest,
same with me.
Playing an Arsenal, 2 Arsenal defenders for an Arsenal defender. If there was ever a time to not play him, it's probably against Villa. Let's be honest. I think Villa are going to be pretty fantastic in this game. My question to you is, as someone that's currently on triple Arsenal defense and has the funds and purposely made a move last week so I could do Hincapié to Gabriel, would you keep Raya Timber and move to Gabriel next week to keep the triple Arsenal defense, or would you pivot off and pull?
I'd keep it.
Keep it? Okay.
Yeah, but mainly because I don't see other defenses that I truly love. Like,
I don't either.
You know, you could go to a Tarkovsky or like there are options there, but I don't know. I think long term, like Cortex makes a good point. Like the fixtures aren't amazing, but like it's Bournemouth, Liverpool. Again, Liverpool at home, I think they'll do fine against us. Then it's Forest United, Leeds, Sunderland. Like I just think at some point Arsenal is going to get rolling and they'll be fine. So I wouldn't stress. I mean, it depends what the money difference is and what the other area you have to go to is. Like, what's the difference between Gabriel and Hincapié? If you're having to then sacrifice something else somewhere down the line, I'd rather you just go sideways to Tarkovsky and not have to take a hit somewhere else in order to make that move. That's probably where I'm looking at. What does a 2 moves look like versus what is 1 move? If it's, I mean, it has to be Hincapié because he's the one that will come out of that back 4 when they're all fit. So you're kind of stuck where you got to make that move. But I'd probably just go with the 3 Arsenal and just roll with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards, and why I haven't made a Dorgu, Dallo, or a heavy move
punt this week.
Yeah, because I have the money in the bank. I can go from I have 1.9 mil. I've got the money ready to go to Gabriel. I've got 1 free transfer, but there is a temptation. I know I got Keane's 10 points last week, and that's the whole reason I brought him in, is to go Keane actually as my 1 move this week down to a Man United defender, and it solves that Keane issue for potentially in the future. And then pray that we don't get an injury, and then be able to use that the week after.
You're playing Russian roulette, aren't you, at that point?
Yeah, a little bit. I've got Timber on the bench who can play and should start and then should be fit for next week anyway. So, you know, it's fine. It just means that if I did cop injury this week, I would have to delay the Gabriel move because I probably would have to deal with the injury because in Company Mark Guia ain't really good options on the bench for me.
Yeah. Fairs. All right. Well, I don't think there was much else out of this game to really write home about. Any thoughts before we move on?
No, not really. Just wish Minte do something at some point, hopefully this week.
Well, Raya did force a good save out of him, so you would have been pretty fortunate there with a nice goal. But Brentford Bournemouth, I don't think we need to talk too much about this one. We spoke enough about Semenyo already. And poor Andy from Let's Talk FPL, he was on Sharda all week and didn't go there, and then he pops a hat trick. So I had him on bloody free hit. He did nothing for me when Dango went off, but he's just stepped into that role of, all right, Dango's gone, I'm the next man up. And I think Lewis Potter could be someone to keep an eye on whilst Dango's at AFCON as well. He's, again, a defender that's gone onto the wing in his absence. So, again, I wouldn't be buying Brentford defenders, but he is someone who, in the right home fixture, can do something. So we'll see how Brentford go. Burnley, Everton. Tarkovsky, the king, was nowhere near his DEFCON, and then I think Everton got to the point where they're like, oh, we'll stuff it, we'll take a point. I didn't watch this game, but they must have just sat in at the end because him and Keane was on 14 with 15 minutes to go. And then I checked after the game and saw he was on 21 and saw that Tarkovsky was on 13. I thought, what the hell was going on here? So, and Tarko was on like 6 or 7 with 10 minutes to go. And I said, well, that's that gone. And then he goes and clears 13. So clearly Everton must have just packed it in, which is interesting. So, again, I don't think there's heaps to talk about here. You're not buying an Everton attacker whilst there's no Njai and, no Dewsbury Hall. And, I'm not a huge fan right now of much of Everton, but Tarkovsky's my guy and he's keeping me afloat. So I think that's about it. All right, Damo.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What'd you think of Liverpool Wolves?
I think when we're on, which is nice. It's nice to see some normality and nice to see us play some decent football. Look, I've been saying it for a little bit and been eyeing off Wirtz, and nice to bring him in and him to immediately pay it off. You can see that when Salah's not in the system, Wirtz just gets so much space to create and dictate, get into the 9 or peel out wide. And obviously, Szoboszlai wasn't fit, but the last few weeks was Szoboszlai. Well, no, he was suspended. You know what I meant. When Szoboszlai was playing, the interchange between those two from going wide right. So I think that Liverpool without a Mo Salah, which is crazy to say about a world-class winger, is a much better Liverpool at the current present with the players that we got at the football club. With that being said, would I go after a Liverpool asset right now? Ekitike, maybe Wirtz, that's probably about it. If you're really brave, Frimpong, who's looking really good as well, bombing up and down, but I don't think any of the big expensive defenders are worth going to at the moment. So to Gabriel, so we would save that. But yeah, Liverpool looking good. Should have probably scored a few more. Probably should keep a clean sheet in this sort of game. So if you're on Virgil like myself, he needs to go.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you can do it. I'm literally planning to get rid of Virgil when we get to Arsenal, and I'm just going to ride him against Leeds and against Fulham. I think that's the next two.
I'm the same. Yep.
Yeah, and then when we get to Arsenal, I know the week after is Burnley. It's the best pivot week. If I can somehow hold him and then get Burnley, and then it's like, But yeah, Liverpool assets. I think if you going after him, it's Ekatike and Wirtz, and that's pretty much it. And we look pretty decent. Yeah, it's good.
Summed it up well there.
Nice. We're back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's been a disaster station for us for such a long period of time, but it's an interesting season this year. So I think, not getting too much into the football, we're looking all right. So It's nice. And it's nice to own a Liverpool attacker when we're back. So you've got Wirtz and I've got Ekatike. So hopefully you can go back to normality and you can assist me instead of me assisting you. So. All right, West Ham Fulham. I feel for the people that brought in Jared Bowen because everything points in the right direction with Bowen. But I've been saying it all season. I am not touching a West Ham player. Bowen is the focal point of this team. He is good. He's a great asset. He's a good finisher, but they suck.
They are getting relegated.
If someone wants to clip it, but they suck.
They suck.
Clip this, they're getting relegated.
Yeah, they're getting relegated. They absolutely suck. Fulham, Dom, well done on having the bullies to go Raul. I don't mind it. Fulham are a team that have scored goals this year. And if you can get 80 minutes from a team's number 9 who's on penalties at 5 and whatever he is, 5.5 or 5.6, whatever he's sitting at now, I think that's a good move. I would be intrigued if you could have afforded Calvert-Lewin because I would have instructed you to go Calvert-Lewin, but I don't mind the Raul move. And as an Anderson owner, yellow card and 8 DC is a little bit frustrating. I never know where to sit with him at the moment because when I bring him in, he actually returns for me. But the last few weeks have been a little bit rough for him. But he's gone 5 and 7 back to back. And the week before last, he got DC and I think he must have got a clean sheet because he got 7 points. He got clean sheet and DEFCON last week against Forest at home. The fixtures for Fulham are not great over the next run of games, which is Palace, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leeds. Then Leeds, Brighton, Man United, Everton's not a bad month there. I wouldn't be buying him, which sounds weird because I like him as an asset until you get to that Leeds game that Leeds away, which won't even be easy. That won't be easy either. And neither will Brighton at home and neither will Man United away. But I think at 4.6 million, he's still a solid enough option as a fourth defender. I don't love him as a top 3 defender, but if he's your bench defender that can come in and do what he did for me this week, come and get me a clean sheet. Fulham's defensive numbers are solid. So, whether we see them actually fulfill that potential because they're a team who typically underperform their expected goals conceded, which is frustrating. So any thoughts here, fellas, before we go to Dom and Chelsea?
No, not really. I think if you went to Raul, congratulations, well done. I think he's a pretty good punt. Look, West Ham suck. Don't go anywhere near any of their players. I know some people try to go back to Paqueta now. Don't understand why. So
yeah, I wouldn't be doing that. All right, Dom, talk to us about Reece James.
The only shining light in the football club at the moment. Does it again.
He is looking incredible.
Yeah, if he stays fit, there's your England right back to the World Cup.
Game week 23, that run.
Yeah.
Target. But then you get the Champions League. So I don't know what happens there. We're garbage. We are just useless. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. We don't really look like winning games against teams in the top half. But from an FPL perspective, Ollie Watkins, where was this the first month of the year?
Yeah, when everyone had him.
Yeah, when everyone owned him.
He's coming off the bench and doing that. But yeah, anyway, the club annoys me.
Reece James, 4 games in a row, 90 minutes, 6-6, 7-6, and with only 2 attacking returns in that as well. So 2 clean sheets there against Bournemouth and Everton, and then a goal and an assist in the last 2 weeks. So playing 90, getting it done. XGI increasing every week since game week 16 as well. So up to 0.14, 0.22. DC got 10 against Villa and then 9 against Bournemouth. I mean, without putting you on the spot, it'd be more contextual based. Like, where was he playing in those games? Was he at right back? Was he at DM? What
Villa and Bournemouth, he was at right back, I believe. Newcastle, Everton, he was in the middle.
All right. So if he's playing at right back, then he's probably more likely to get DC in this system. So just one to consider. You can't buy him right now, I don't think. I mean, you probably could. Bournemouth isn't bad. Fulham, Brentford, honestly, from 21. From Fulham, Brentford.
21.
And if you cop 2 benchings or 2 45s, you just have to ride it. But then you pray that you get 2 15-pointers from him that absolutely blow the other games out the park, that he's a way better asset. On the Villa side of things, is there anyone here that we're looking at? I mean, I don't have Rodgers. I had to make that call, Cunha Rodgers, and I went with Cunha. Is anyone intriguing you? Because this is a team that's won 11 on the bounce, and we're not talking about any of their assets other than Rodgers.
I wouldn't say that there is anyone major. Obviously, Rodgers has been fantastic for me since bringing him in. It's been great. Obviously going him over Wilson. But look, Watkins didn't even start. He came off the bench. So I don't know if I could go there just... Look, I don't think that's going to happen all the time. Defensively, I don't think their numbers are great. And I'm not a big fan of a goalkeeper transfer. But if you are on wildcard, I do think Martinez has some value as a keeper. If you're on Raya at the moment and you have a wild card that you're using this week, Jackie, maybe you're in this boat. I think that's a good move. But yeah, their defenders don't really get DC.
Yeah, they don't score well.
Yeah, the Konza didn't get there. I don't think he did.
He did.
He did. Yeah,
he doesn't get it generally.
Yeah, I was going to say he barely gets there. I think if you want to go to one, it's like Cash or Digne, but I don't know how you can go there with Mattson.
I think there's better options.
I just think it's Rodgers and a punt on Watkins if you want to up front, which I would say there's probably better options up front or cheaper assets that are doing just as well. Calvert-Lewin. I would say that if you're someone that really is after a cheap, midfielder that plays defensive mid, bit of an enabler, Yuri Tillemans is really popular amongst a lot of their algorithms. He does really well on Fantasy Football Hub, and all the other analytics, predictor sites. So Yuri could be an option if you're looking for someone.
I looked at him at the start of the year.
Yeah, same
here. That assist threat, DC threat. Like, he went and got 16 DC with an assist. Like, he's just that sort of box. He's a Declan Rice type of midfielder that can do a bit of everything. So
yeah,
you just got to be prepared to play him every week. You just got to play him every week, and just get the odd long shot, you get the odd assist, you get DC. Yeah, so he's just one of those interesting ones. So nice. We'll move it on. Before we do, make sure you do hit the like button. We've just hit 10 likes. If we can walk out of here with 20, that would be fantastic tonight. So let's go. Sunderland lead. Granit Xhaka once again does his thing, gets an assist.
That ball was incredible.
I miss having Granit Xhaka in my team. He was just fun to own as a plug-and-play option. Didn't get anywhere near the DC this week because Sunderland were, relatively the better side in this game too. At home, which we probably expected. Alderete and Mukiel both get their DC comfortably. Roos goes and gets a 3-pointer, so he goes and gets his save points, and he's someone I'm definitely looking at when the time comes to restructure my goalkeeper and take all this money out of Raya, because why would I want to own a 5.6 million 6-point machine if he decides to ever get a clean sheet again, where Roofs could go and get a 15-pointer. Calvert-Lewin scores again. I spoke about it a fortnight ago and you guys laughed at me, and he's gone and shoved it in your face twice with a double and won this week. And
got it wrong.
I genuinely thought about it when I did the Mark Guiu move, but it just created the same problem I already had. So the reason I went Guiu was to take away the benching headaches and that wouldn't have then given me the ability to go Voltamata up to Ekatike either. So long term, it's worked out better for me. But God, if you got on Calvert-Lewin a month ago, you're absolutely laughing. He's still only at 10% owned. No, people are buying him, Dom.
No, that was in a month ago.
Oh, no, people were buying him. Like, after the first 2 goals, they got on him, and then they've got the last 3 or whatever it is. So interesting. I think. Oh, sorry, Leeds were over them in the second half. There you go. I didn't actually watch this game, but probably sums up why the defenders all got DEFCON because they were obviously defending for their lives. Yeah, Ola will cycle back to this one. If he goes to City, he's a definite sell.
Yes.
Well, he needs to be in your team as long as he is a Bournemouth asset. Once he becomes a City asset, he can go in the bin. Palace Spurs. That was our last game this week, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
Crystal Palace is dead.
They've run into the ground.
Yeah, beat him.
Sell. Get out. Get off. No Munoz as well. Haven't heard much about that issue either. So I would just be selling at all because not
Richard's injured too.
Yeah, but he's a cut, I think. So he should be back in a couple of weeks. So he shouldn't be too far. Spurs, don't buy anyone. That's just don't buy anyone.
Yeah,
they just got a good
they got lucky.
Damo, talk through this one whilst I set up
I think Frimpong is a good option. On free hit, I think he's going to start. I think
it's a better option, and it's an easier, cheaper, better option. I think it's Dorgu against Wolves.
Yeah, correct.
On a free hit, 1 week.
For a free hit, 1 game.
Dorgu.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you're not having Dorgu and Frimpong, that's probably the question. Would you go with both? Yes, I think both are two good attacking fullbacks for the week. So yeah,
who do Liverpool have this week?
Leeds at home.
Have Leeds.
Oh yeah, I'd be getting both of them.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Matthias Cunha over the next 7 game weeks. I think that's a fair chunk of sample. Obviously, okay, we'll get Saka in there. There you go. Saka number 1 at 10.3. I kind of feel bad leaving Saka out, but the fact that Cunha is only 0.8 points over 7 game weeks at such a cheaper price, at 2.2 mil cheaper, I think there's a reason why people need to go there. And Damo, if you just notice options 2, 3, 4, and 5, what do you notice the pattern there?
They're in your team?
All 4 of them are in my team, baby. Have I got this just set up on midfielders? This is on all as well. This is including strikers that are not Haaland. Yep. So if I included Haaland, I'd have option 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 all in my side at the moment.
Pretty good.
I'm a very happy man right now that I've got a lot of these guys. But I think a lot of these guys are no-brainers. We've spoken about a few of them last night. So far tonight. Cunha, if you haven't bought him, this is the time now to go and buy him. Foden, again, probably not buying him at 9 million. I think you can find better value than Foden at 9, but you'd want him for that that Wolves game. They're in game week 23, but by then he could be bloody 9.5 million if people keep buying him, if he keeps playing well, because he's only 40% owned, which is staggering to me that he's not in the 50s. Yeah. And then Rice and Semenyo, I feel like a no-brainers. Then look at the next option, Tekatike. Another one in my team. Another one in my team. So I feel like we've spoken enough about these guys. Gabriel, there you go. There's the first one I don't own. And then Palmer, and then O'Reilly. So I don't think there's a whole lot here that we need to talk through out of these options. If you got any of these guys, very good options. The interesting thing with Gabriel, they've predicted him in at 68 minutes against Villa and then 90 for Bournemouth and beyond.
Yep.
We spoke about Gabriel and there. From that sort of Forest game week 22, he could be a really good option at that point to go Virgil. Game week 23 then. Get Virgil through Burnley and then bring in Gabriel from 23.
I honestly think you can even go a couple of weeks earlier, and when we play Fulham, go and get Gabriel in as well. I think that's an option.
I'd want a little bit more to watch him, I think, and just see what they do. As someone who already owns 2 Arsenal defence, I'm not going there. Or it's Timber to Gabriel, which I might do, because you're banking on Timber for more attacking threat than you are DC. I think Gabriel is going to consistently get better DC with enough attacking threat than Timber, because Timber is not a DC defender at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Interesting comment here about O'Reilly. O'Reilly versus Vardiol. Where do we sit? Because when O'Reilly was at 4.5, he was 4.5, Dom, when you bought him, wasn't he?
Yep, I think so. You're pretty close to him, Dom.
Yeah, I got him very early.
Yeah, so 4.5 to 6, big disparity, right? If I'm paying 5.3 for O'Reilly, I'm paying 6 for Vardiol.
Yes.
Personally.
Yeah.
Now, like, I'm someone who's missed out on O'Reilly. So I have to look at it as a 5.3 million asset versus another 5.3 million asset in Nunes versus Vardiol. And like, I don't think O'Reilly's been a bad asset at all. He's been fine. And I don't think it really matters which one of those 3 defenders you actually have, because in any given week, the roles all change. And Vardiol's goal threat is the lowest out of those 3. So I'd be more content holding the attacking fullbacks of City, because I wouldn't expect them to get DC very often. Thoughts, boys?
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you got on O'Reilly early, you're pretty happy that you didn't go Guardiola. I think if you obviously are now looking at a Man City defender, obviously the 0.7 is definitely worth going to Guardiola. But for when me and Dom got on him, Dom got him really, really early. I got on him a few weeks after. Obviously, that price saving was huge for us, and he's got a fair bit of value that we could sell on.
Yeah, big time. Then it's Gakpo, which I don't fully agree with, but at some point he will come back in at that left wing position. But I don't know, because we're looking good with it'll probably be a Wirtz, Szoboszlai, Gakpo front 3 with Ekitike up front whilst Isak's out. So I don't hate it, but I wouldn't be going there. I just don't think there's options there. I think there's better midfield options than Liverpool right now other than Wirtz. Mateta would not be going near him whatsoever. Hub have him predicted at 75 minutes, and that's that's generous. Like, I'd be having him at 65, like at the most, because he normally gets to about 62 and then not great. So would not be going near Mateta. Thiago, again, at 7 mil, probably not. I think I'd rather just go Calvert-Lewin, personally.
Yeah, I would agree.
Save the money. And then we're in this weird bracket of Odegaard, Romero, Bruno G, Canate, Calvert-Lewin. So there you go. There's Calvert-Lewin at 5.8, at 38 and 36.9. For 1 point, I'd rather just go Calvert-Lewin. Any names here, fellas, that stand out as options for our crew to consider?
Obviously, if you're looking for a forward, Calvert-Lewin. Obviously, I love Rodgers, but not this week. I think he's one for the future. If you haven't already got on him, I think from game week 20, he's definitely a very good buy. Look at the fixtures for Villa coming up. I do think there's a world where we probably want a couple Villa assets, but I don't know who they are. It's really Rodgers and that's it. Watkins if you need a striker, but obviously Calvert-Lewin's on that list for a reason. So yeah, interesting.
I think I need to find a way to get Bruno G to Rodgers, I think.
Yeah, look, I've obviously got both, and there's a world where I want to try and get Bruno G in a few weeks back to Bruno Fernandes for when he's back. But yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to go Cunha to Fernandes, but
yeah,
I'll reverse that move, which would be annoying. But then, Reece James, Rodgers, and then Cherky of all people there as well. So, look, I think there's no real standout transfer targets for me this week, personally.
Yeah.
Like, it's an interesting week. It depends. It's really team dependent. So we've got about just over 10 minutes. I just want you guys to flood us with your questions, because I do want to answer some more of those team-specific questions that you guys have. So let us know what your dilemmas are, because we won't be live again until after game week 20 as well. So we've got 2 game weeks to get through. Cortex sold Burn to Dior this week, which I don't hate because Burn's going to be out for a while. So Newcastle's... Look, I don't love Newcastle, but the fixtures are bloody good. Burnley, Palace, Leeds.
They're going to keep a couple clean sheets in there.
And they've got, the 2 home games, though, are the worst 2. The 2 home games are Palace and Leeds. So I'd rather be Burnley and Wolves, but it is what it is. For a friend, Matty Cash, 4.5 million defender. Matty Cash to who?
Have you got money in the bank or not for your friend? If there's no money in the bank, I think Heaven, Dalot, or Dorgu. If there's money,
you have to pick one of those 3, Damo. This is a longer term.
I'm going to say 2 out of those 3. I won't sit on the fence. I think if it's you don't have much depth from the bench at all, like someone like me who doesn't have depth, has to be Dalot because he's going to play every minute. I think if you're someone that has like Alderete and you have Anderson on your bench as well, right? Defenders that can play each week, I think Heaven's the one. Because if he doesn't start, he's not going to come on, and he's 3.8 million. And you just put him last sub.
Yeah, and you just play the fixture with him.
Yep.
We had another comment there about Van Heck. I mean, Van Heck's a very good short-term play. That's 2 weeks. You get West Ham, Burnley, but then Cortex. My issue there is I don't like buying players on that short window. Like I want them to have some ability to play. Like he went 12 points against Villa when he scored a double, didn't he? Yeah, he scored a double, and then barring that, he's not really much attacking threat. He got an assist against West Ham. He does play, though, but he's just a bit concerning for me. So I wouldn't go there longer term. I'd much prefer a Dallo or a Heaven, I think, at that point. So get those other questions in the chat, guys, as well. Fire away. Let us know your benching dilemmas.
I've got a question for you.
I will not touch Spurs. Fire away, Damo.
No, don't go near Spurs. No one go near Spurs. I think they're absolutely rubbish, and it's proven the point why Ange should definitely still be in the role because they're doing a lot worse without Ange. Anyhow, I've got 2 questions for you. First one is I only have 1 free transfer, but I'm very tempted to do this. That much so I have it currently loaded on my fantasy website. Ready? He can come PA because he ain't going to start this week, and I don't see it happening, and he's a headache. I need to get rid of him, right? I have 1.9 mil in the bank. Not to Gabriel, but to Diogo Dalot this week, because then I get the Wolves fixture. Now, barring anyone getting injured, which is obviously a big stretch, right? That would allow me to go to any defender to Gabriel, and I'm thinking of making that Keane next week when they expect, Brentford to be mostly back, and then going to Gabriel. Do you like that as a 2-move prong?
So, does that give you? Can you just share your screen?
Yeah.
Does that give you a defensive 4 then of Timber, Gabriel, Dallo?
Yeah, so it would be a defensive. It would be a defensive 4 if I did do the Keane move. I've actually done it on my fantasy football hub for Virgil because that would free up funds for else, and keep Keane an extra week. But it would give me a back 4: Virgil, O'Reilly, Gabriel.
Oh, you got O'Reilly as well.
Yeah, Dalot and Timber. That would be my back 5.
Okay.
That's not a bad back 5.
Very, very solid. That sounds
okay.
Solid.
If I was to do that move, who do you start out of these 3? Timber against Aston Villa, which I think is a no, right? Keane against Forest away, or Rodgers against Arsenal away?
Rodgers.
I think you bench Timber and you have Raya. So it doesn't fully kill you not having one Arsenal defender.
Have to start one of Timber, Rodgers, or Keane. Who's the 2?
I'll start one.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm tempted by Keane.
I am too because I think he hits DC and there's a world where they keep a clean sheet and it's like another 10-pointer. But I also see this game finishes 2-2 and Rodgers has got a
Timber's definitely the first one on the bench there.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
Hub says Keane by 0.01. I'm very tempted to play Rodgers. I'm also tempted that if I just sell Keane, I don't have this headache because
you have Dallo and play Wolves.
Yeah, and then obviously then just play Rodgers as well and just be done with it. But and then deal with Campier next week instead.
Oh, because then you can bench in Campier.
Yeah, because I'll just put him second on the bench. What would you do? I'm currently. I feel like I need to get Diogo Dalot in tonight to get the.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I actually like that better. I like the bench in Campier this week. Bench the 2 Arsenal boys this week. Play Rodgers and Dallo, and then deal with Campier next week for Gabriel.
Yeah, which would be just Gabriel, and allows me to keep Virgil. Yeah, and that gives me a good back 5. My back 5 would be O'Reilly, would be Virgil, O'Reilly, Gabriel, Timber, and Diogo Dalot for the next few weeks, which, if I had to play 5 at the back, it's pretty good. The only reason why I wouldn't be playing 5 at the back the week after is do have Mintane. It goes West Ham, Burnley. It's the whole reason I've kept him. So,
yeah, I like it, Damo.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another one for you that I'll finish the stream off with.
Yep.
Best Semenyo replacements from game week 20 onwards. So, for game week 20 and beyond, we're looking in that. So he is I'm going to put it up to 9 million mids, right? So that's a stretch. 9 mil is a stretch, right? So that's 1.3 mil.
Yep.
He goes Cunha, Foden, Semenyo from game week 20 is the top 3 projected points. Cunha, Foden, Semenyo, top 3.
Yep.
And there's not a lot between them either. Then it goes Rice, Gakpo, Odegaard, Rodgers, Bruno G. Now, from game week 20, my bet as the non-Rodgers owner is Rodgers. I think if you go Semenyo to Rodgers next week to pick up Forest at home, Palace away, Everton at home, Newcastle away, Brentford home, Bournemouth away, Brighton at home, I think you could absolutely love Rodgers. And there comes the comment, as I say it, Rodgers, if you haven't got him. And I think he is the guy at a 0.3 million saving as well, post-Arsenal. Thoughts, fellas? Is he clearly number 1?
Yeah, I think he is.
And then if Cortex owns him, who would be our number 2 option?
Probably still Cunha, but I would also be sweating on the return of Bruno. I don't know how long-term.
I think Cunha and Bruno make each other better, though.
Yeah, correct. I'm not saying I just think Bruno's got more ways to points, and if he got the money to get the 9 mil, then that's what I would do. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. I like it too. And then, I mean, a few other options there that I don't love. I mean, there's Declan Rice there, but I don't know if you'd want to block an Arsenal slot by doing that. So, any other questions? All right, so Cortex before he owns Cunha, Foden, Saka, Bruno G, and Semenyo. So, I would definitely be going to Rodgers then.
Yeah, Rodgers for sure. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
No brainer.
All righty. My dilemma. I'm going to bring it on the screen because I've got something where I'm at this point of trying to get aggressive. So if I go, let me add this to stage and then share this tab. That's my current team going into game week 19. Obviously having to play Timber, which I don't love. Similar situation to you, Damo. Double Arsenal defense. I've mentioned before, I don't love Anderson because I don't see myself playing him probably in any of those fixtures, bar maybe Leeds and depending on Brighton, depending on the structure of my team.
Yep.
1 free transfer. What have I got in the bank? 0.1.
Yep.
There's 1 move I can make. You know who it is at 4.6 mil. Oh, he's 4.5 anyway. Do I slide across and then at least be able to bench Timber this week, minimum, and then get a good fixture there against Burnley in 21, and then I still keep Timber, Tarkovsky, and Virgil.
Yeah, I say yes because you got a good enough depth in your whole squad, apart from Guiu, right? But like Alderete, if you had to play him in any week, he's going to start, right? Bar him getting concussed again, right?
Yeah.
You're happy to play Bruno G in any fixture, really, because he's 95% of the time he's 90
I'm 3-5-2. I'm 3-5-2. I'm committed to 3-5-2.
Yeah, so I think yes, if you've got a deep enough squad, then do it. Obviously, mine's a little bit different. I don't really have a deep enough squad, so me getting rid of an asset like Keane, who would be able to be benchable, But I think yes, I think even if you have 1 free transfer, I think getting to a United asset for these next 3 fixtures is probably a very good play.
Yeah, I think what I'll have to do off stream is project how many times does Dallo play in my best team over the next 3 weeks minimum. But he's a defender, again, who gets that run of fixtures for a long period of time, who I am more comfortable playing the plug and play with him over Anderson, because if I'm plug and playing a defender, I want them to have the attacking potential and the attacking ability with some DC, where Anderson is like clean sheet or bust. He's like, there's nothing else. You're not getting anything from Anderson, where at least with Dallo, if it's a week where I have to plug him in or someone gets benched and doesn't come on, there's a world where he goes and gets a 15-pointer in a good fixture. So that's where my head is with Dallo. And like, I do love the Aiden Heaven pick at 3.8 million.
Yep.
I don't particularly need the money anyway. Like, I'm okay with that. I'd rather have the longer term pick there. Dom, I don't know if you're shaking your head at me about potentially owning 2 Man United assets, but
no, that was no.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
because Hub actually have Anderson starting in my team ahead of Timber. Now that's probably because of the
that's the minutes risk.
A minute.
Yeah.
When I go to make the transfer, the number 1 recommended defender is Aiden Heaven.
Yep.
And they've got him until game week 25 starting.
Being 90 minutes.
I'm not going to go there because for the sake of, what's that, 0.7 million, I know I can get a starting fullback on either side, and it's Dallo. So I think I'm in the same boat as you, Damo. And at this stage, he doesn't play for me against Leeds away, which I can live with. And then in game week 21, according to the AI, he comes in for Virgil, which is probably a smart move in game week 21 when we play Arsenal away. So I know Virgil could go and get DC in that game, but Dallo gets Burnley away.
I think the question is in game week 20, I know that you would have Leeds for Dallo. You have Virgil for Fulham, right? And you probably have a midfielder. My midfielder that
I could bench Semenyo.
Yeah, which I don't know. Mine would be it needs me to start to a Virgil, Dalot, or Wirtz. Who do you start? Who's the one that misses out?
Virgil, Dalot,
and Wirtz. I'm actually thinking it's Virgil. Because Leeds away, decent fixture. Wirtz, better going forward. Fulham will score against us.
Same dilemma as you, buddy. So
I think I've got Virgil, Dalot. Virgil, which is why I want to get... Yeah.
I mean, Fulham's attack isn't great, though.
Yeah.
So that's what we can talk about next week.
Do you just ride Dalot on the bench against Leeds?
Potentially. Anderson would love to score against Palace. That would be peak FPL.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Anyway, we've got 13 of us in the chat at the moment as well. We are running out of time. It is getting late here in Australia. So get your last comments and questions in for us to go through. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you subscribe as well, because we don't want you guys missing out on our Tuesday streams, because this is our favorite time of the week, being with you guys on the stream as well. We're sitting currently at... I'm on the wrong channel. It might help if I get on the right channel, because I'm on the different computer. We've gained 2 subscribers, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for that, guys. Make sure you do hit that button. We are on 14 likes. If we can just push it that little bit over 15, that would be fantastic. Ola with a good question. Dallo or Heaven? So this is the situation I'm in, Ola.
I think it's Dallo.
It's dependent on your structure and your team. My team is... I need Dallo because I want the long-term playability of Dallo in my team, because they only really have 2 bad games, 22 and 23. He doesn't get near my team. But then in game week 24, my team actually projects to go to a back 4, which has him against Fulham at home and Alderete against Burnley at home. And then I actually bench Tarkowski against Brighton, which is crazy, and bench Bruno G against Liverpool away, which is crazy. But he comes in, and then really from that point on, he's like a 3.5 to 4 point player. So he becomes my number 1 sub. So I'm happy with the Diogo Dallo as my number 1 sub. So yes, I would go Dallo short term because he's brilliant, and then long term as your number 1 sub on the bench. If you've got a structure like me where I've got Timber, Virgil, and Tarkowski, that's what I'd be doing. My mate has the free hit and triple captain. Well, that's poor planning. Because you only got... This is your last week to play a chip. So if you haven't played a chip, play it now. Last week, play it. I would be probably...
free hit.
I think it's the free hit.
Triple United.
It gets you more points than a triple captain.
Triple United, triple Liverpool.
Yeah. I mean, that's frustrating, though, because there's been some good fixtures the last couple of weeks, and surely they could have just... Haaland against West Ham or Ekitike against Wolves. There's enough fixtures there to get a triple captain out of the way with, but I think free hit. I forgot them. Fair enough. I would go free hit on that one. And on that note, guys, I think the time has come. We are going to call it there. Thank you very much for all the people in the chat as well. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Make sure on your way out that you are hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're hitting the like button. And we will see you back again next Tuesday night for another live stream, unpacking the last 2 game weeks and also getting you guys ready for game week 21. We will see you then.